Welcome back to I Dream of Indie, everyone. I'm Brogue Hearts, and I'm here with a review of developer Tinimation's Clang 2, the sequel to 2016's rhythm action game Clang, which I'm playing on the PlayStation 5, but can be found on multiple platforms including Xbox and Steam. Following the footsteps of its predecessor, this title expands on the unique combination of action, platform, and combat elements combined with simple rhythmic gameplay, and wraps it up in a similar but fresh aesthetic, of course being driven all the while by an EDM-based sonic assault on your ears. Having not played the original title, and not being especially keen on rhythm games, I wasn't sure how I would like this title, but it looked and sounded intriguing enough for me to want to take a chance on it. Was it enough to win me over and turn me into an unlikely fan? Clang 2 puts you in the role of a quote-unquote rhythm warrior who possesses lightning abilities and wields a magical set of weapons called Toon Blades. Guiding you on your journey is an AI named, AI, and together you seek out the evil Sound Lord Somnus on a mission of revenge. Yeah, I really didn't get it either. There are many more story elements as you progress in the game that flesh things out a bit better and help to build the universe, but it's hardly an integral or even necessary element. In fact, you can play the game without any story element whatsoever should you choose. It's clear that this game is all about the gameplay and the visual and sonic arsenal in its possession. That's why as a reviewer it becomes difficult to separate these elements and look at them separately from one another. In a rhythm game, each element is so integral to the other to make the whole package work as intended that developers have to create ways to remain visually interesting without being distracting, all while maintaining a loyalty to the music that is driving the whole package, and of course still keeping the game fun. I'm happy to report that in this regard, Clang 2 is a big success. The first thing we notice about any game is its visuals. There's no better way for me to describe this game's visuals than how the developers themselves describe them. A quote, techno-Greek aesthetic is inspired by synthwave, musical symbolism, and Greek sculpture, end quote. Yep. Pretty sure that nails it. And they nailed it. As a huge fan of Greek history and art, I found the style immediately recognizable and pleasing. The color palette is perfectly in line with the synth retro wave aesthetic also, and perfectly suits the EDM soundtrack to create a dreamy and nostalgic atmosphere. Everything looks very clean as well, and animations are smooth and fluid. The rhythm warrior you play as appears to combine human and cybernetic elements into its design, and while I never really took too well to this character's design, it worked well in the context of the game's visuals. Enemies are also uniquely designed, with some of the boss characters truly standing out, but expect to see lots of blue, purple, orange, and black. It isn't the most exciting title graphically, but it finds a look that works, and I think it suits the soundtrack and the rhythmic gameplay quite well. On to that gameplay, because that's of course the next thing we notice outside of music and visuals. Here too the game earned strong grades from me. I'm all about simplicity when gaming these days, and this game is nothing if not simple to play. It basically relies on the use of two buttons during gameplay, the analog stick and the action button, in my case the square button. You aim your character at a symbol and time the action button to match the rhythm of said symbol. The closer you get to perfect, the better. Miss the timing and you will suffer damage. In the context of the game, however, this is considered combat since you're battling enemies, so the attacks are divided into dash, strike, and hold. Depending on which enemy you're facing, you'll need to time or hold the square button. While this sounds simple on the surface, things can escalate quickly when action picks up, and it can get very intense. You will want to make certain that your reflexes are up to snuff when playing this, because I found myself going a bit cross-eyed and struggling to keep up with the on-screen action at times. It's a challenging game, even on a normal setting, and for people like me who aren't particularly good at rhythm games, you'll likely experience some confusion and frustration at times. When you do get into a groove, however, it's both incredibly fun and satisfying as you time your button presses in unison with the beat of the music. About that music. If you like EDM, you will like this soundtrack. That's really as simple as it gets. If you don't, then you still might be able to have some fun with this title, but you're certain to find it less enjoyable. The soundtrack is a driving force behind both the gameplay and the visual elements of this title. I, personally, found a lot of the tracks to be immensely enjoyable, and that's speaking as someone who isn't huge into the EDM scene. Composer Blind handles the majority of the game's 30 tracks, but there are contributions from many other artists as well, such as City Girl, RCN, and James Landino. All are unique and satisfying in their own way, and of course all lead to a lesser, more intense rhythmic challenge based on the beat, but they tie the game together and serve as the heartbeat of this title. Overall, I enjoyed my experience with this game. The simple controls, beautiful aesthetics, and immersive soundtrack all contribute to make a unique and fun title. While the story elements are forgettable, and the challenge can be a bit much for newbies, I think fans of rhythm games will find much to like here. Replay value is relatively high as well, since the developers included a higher difficulty mode and also implemented a procedurally generated combat system that ensures that a track will never play the same way twice. And of course, the music is good, so that alone is incentive to want to come back. I can't say this game is for everyone, although anyone will have no trouble picking it up, but for fans of rhythm games and games that offer easy accessibility, Clang 2 is a worthy addition to your library. This is one Clang that won't break your eardrums. Let's now take a moment to thank all the great indie warriors who helped to make this channel's content possible. Bill T, Kevalo, Mitchell Hall, Chris Jackson, Nathan Moore, Adriana Amato, CJR, C Coil, Skeptism, Hallie, Julian Kalbus, Jen Rose, Jesse, CPM, Bunny, JRS8, Raylin, Marky Mint. The gaming mountain is high, indie warriors, and channels like ours must start or climb from the very bottom. To help load our supply packs and ensure a safe journey to the peak, please check out the description box below for ways to offer your support. And of course, keep watching, liking, and subscribing. Until next time.